Hey guys, it's Denali. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back today with another one of my car chats. I used to call it coffee chats, but there's no coffee here. I suppose there's a water bottle. So water bottle chat. Get your water in today. Take a sip right now. That's your reminder. All right, I have kind of two stories to tell you. One is informational and then one is kind of a little wild. So I guess let's just jump right into it. Okay, the first informational one that I wanted to talk about was this check. I don't want to show you the check, but you can see it's a check from the back of it, but a check that I received from the United States Postal Service. They send primarily all of the mail that we send out on the regular. I was checking my mailbox a couple weeks ago and I found this check in there and I was like, what the heck is this? I don't usually get paid by the USPS. So I opened it up and I'm looking at it and it looks like we had filed some sort of claim. Now, I didn't file it, my warehouse manager did, so thank you to them. So I asked them about why we filed this claim, and it's because a buyer had reached out to us and something had happened to their package upon them receiving it. It was damaged in some sort of way. So they went ahead and filed a claim, and lo and behold, we got a check from USPS, which is exciting, for the amount of the item. So if you're not familiar with how priority mail works, you are insured up to a certain dollar amount on the package that you send. So it's important for you to know this when you're sending out items, because if an item is of a certain value that is beyond maybe the regular threshold of what it might be insured at, and I'm sorry, off the top of my head, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna say $100, but if it's beyond $100, you're gonna wanna pay up for each 100 up into possibly the thousands for how much the item is worth, so that if something happens to it, obviously you can then get reimbursed. So our item happened to be below the $100 threshold. I'm actually looking at the check right now and it is for $98.70 to be exact. So what does this process look like in terms of filing a claim? Well, two things, I looked it up, and for our claim, you have to wait a minimum of 15 days before filing your claim, and then you can't wait any longer than 60 days to file your claim. You do file this claim on USPS website. You can just literally type in USPS file a claim priority mail into Google and you'll find all of this information. The next thing you want to do is gather documentation. You're going to want to reach out to that buyer before you refund them, because you're going to refund them because something happened to the package. Maybe it didn't arrive at all and it says it arrived, or whatever, it's become damaged. You'll want to ask them to supply you with some photos if the item was broken into somehow, maybe it tore in a machine or on the delivery truck, whatever the case is. Have them photograph the condition of how the package arrived and send that to you, because you are going to need that for your claim. It's going to help support your claim. I would imagine that's really what's going to push your claim through, is photographic evidence. Also, you're going to want to have your tracking number and the tracking history, maybe taking a screenshot of that and then including that information in there. And then, like I said, you're going to go ahead and file that claim online in that time frame, no earlier than 15 days. And then if you're lucky, you're gonna get a check, which I did. They can reject a claim, so be prepared for that scenario to happen. If your claim does get rejected, there is an appeal that you can fill out, so don't feel like you only get one chance with this. Go and file that appeal, because your appeal might win and then you'll get your money. I have had claims rejected. I've also filed appeals and had them get rejected. Just know that, yeah, it might not always go through, but I've also had claims that have gone through. It's just a two-way street there. So just a tip for you there, file your claims if anything happens. And obviously it's going to be for Priority Mail Express, and everything beyond there. To my knowledge, I don't know if it applies to first class mail. I'm really not sure if it goes for first class mail, unless you then chose to insure the package via first class mail, and you will have to still, again, pay extra dollar amount on top for each amount that it's insured. Okay, so the second one doesn't involve a check. So I was at the outlet, the Goodwill outlet. I'm not going to say the date because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I was at the outlet and it was the end of the day and I was sorting my cart, and so I had walked back by the wall and was near a big blue bin so I could throw my stuff back into there as I sorted it, which pieces I wanted, which pieces I didn't. There was a man standing near the bin and was sorting through it. I was kind of sorting through it for a second because I was like, oh, what's in this bin? And then I kind of lost interest. So I've got my headphones in, I'm picking out the stuff that I don't want to take home with me, and I see that one of the employees walks over to the man's cart and starts kind of looking through it, which is a little bit of a faux pas. At the outlet, you are, a kind of a silent rule is like, don't touch stuff that's in other people's cart. But because he was an employee there, and I think he was just kind of curious, he looked in this cart. And I'm not really paying attention to it, but I do kind of hear the employee talking out loud. And I do, out of the corners of my eye, see that the customer who's looking in the bin is not really interested in engaging with the employee. And then all of a sudden I look back over at the employee and he's holding what appears to be a gun. And I'm a little bit shocked. I probably got wide-eyed. It was, the size of a gun. I am not familiar with handling firearms, but it appeared to be the size of a gun. It was silver colored. It looked like an older gun. If I had to say, it probably maybe was an antique, but I don't know how far back. And I've got my music playing, and I think I heard the employee saying something like, oh, this is a great find. I used to have one of these, or something like that. I wasn't totally familiar. And the gentleman whose gun it was just continued to look through the bin. He wasn't even engaging with the employee, but the employee kind of kept handling it and then eventually set it down. So that was a little startling. Again, I don't know what sort of gun it was. For all I know, it may have been a toy gun, but for all I know, it looked like a real gun. So that was a new one for me. Have I seen other types of items at the outlet that could be perceived as a weapon, for instance? Absolutely. I've seen knives, kitchen knives, like big butcher knives, huge ones, just laying in the bin, and there are children around who like to go through the bins, and so it's a little, as a mom, it scares me because I know how curious children are, and so oftentimes when I do see something that appears to be a weapon, like a knife, I've not found a gun personally, but I will at least try and push it back further into the bin so that it's not within reach of a small child. But I really do think that maybe things should be sorted a little bit differently. But I also understand that they have a lot of inventory to work through, and so they're a lot of times just dumping the big, brown cardboard boxes, pallets, into the bins and then just rolling it out onto the floor. And so they don't always know what's in there. So yeah, I guess, I didn't panic. It's not like I started running for the exit the minute I saw it. Maybe I should have. I don't know, because I don't even know if it was a real gun, to be honest with you. Again, to my knowledge, it was, but to my knowledge, it also probably may not have been. So yeah, I didn't freak out or anything like that. I just kind of looked at employee and I was kind of like, huh. And then I just went back to sorting my cart. But yeah, I just thought it was a fun story and I wanted to share it with you guys. I don't know, fun story? Is that a fun story? It's a story. I had a story to share with you guys. So has anything like that ever happened at a thrift store or the outlet for you, where something just out of the norm happens and kind of startles, like brings you back into reality for a second? Let me know, I'm curious. So anyways, just kind of a short little video. Hope you all are having a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.